know if it's because, you know, as the heavyweight champ we do more, or just because we're in New York City. I don't know what made it so different, but this fight is different.
I know Derrick just got his shoes.
I was here Sunday. I mean, I got here on Sunday. I left San Jose Sunday morning at 7. So. But I mean, this is what I normally do. You know, I mean, this is not anything new. I've been doing this for, you know, a long time now. And even in the build-up to my first title fight, you know, it wasn't like Jones had to just carry the promotion. They kind of relied on me in that sense too, and it's kind of just stayed that way.
Is it crazy to be? I mean, you're walking away from sport supposedly in 5 months, basically, and you're finally at this point where you really are like the main event. You're the draw. You're the one that you seem to have the appreciation for everyone.
You know, man, it's not crazy to think. It's just. It is what it is. You know, I knew this was going to be when I was done with the sport, and I've accepted that a long time ago. Not just now. You know, I've accepted this years in the past. So it's just all coming to a head now.
Because most guys don't walk away right as they're sort of peaking as a superstar.
Isn't it unbelievable that it took 10 years? I mean, but it is what it is. It took long, so it's sad that hopefully this rolls into my next career.
But you know how retirement goes. You fighters retire and they get their itch maybe 6 months later, a year later. How do you know for sure that when you call it a day, you'll be done for good?
Because when I didn't fight after I fought Alexander Gustafsson, and I was only 36 and 37, I went 9 months and I was okay. I was like, I'm actually okay just doing TV and chilling. Because the reality is, with me, it's like, with me, it's like, just because I'm not fighting, I'm not making money. You know, like some guys, they have to fight to make money. But if I'm busy working TV, I'm still doing well. You know, and it also gives me opportunity to spend more time with my kids and my wife and everything else. So I feel like I'm going to be okay. Because I also corner guys. I also coach. So there are ways for me to stay involved in competition. And not only that, it's my kids now are competing. I mean, the other day I was at a gymnastics competition with my daughter, and she was on the balance beam, and she's so good at it, right? And her scores are usually 9.2, 9.3, and I'm thinking, well, if she does well in her best event, she'll be high in the all-around. And she's on the beam looking at us, and she falls off. So I was like, God dang it. And I got up, since her routine was over, I got up like fuming. I was like, I'm a gymnastics dad now, right? And her scores came in, and she had done everything so well that even with the fall, she still had like an 8.9. So it was like, dang it, she could have had a 9.4, but with the fall, she still got an 8.9, which put her like 4th in the all-around. So I was like, okay. You know, but it's like, I'm so into their stuff that it's fine. You know, my son in his football and his wrestling, it's all fine. My competitive drive will be through them.
You're just as into the gymnastics?
Oh, goodness. I didn't think so. Because the first time I went, I was just kind of sitting there because I didn't understand. But now that I kind of understand, it's better. So I'm like the dad yelling, everything tight, Marquita, because I know like when you're tight, it matters. It's like the scores are better when your legs go straight, they don't bend, and when your tummy's in on the ball. I'm like, everything tight, Marquita, and everybody looks over like, is that Daniel Cormier? It's awesome.
On a totally different note, hypothetically, you win Saturday night and you've got John Jones and Brock Lesnar probably both sitting bullshit. What do you do?
I mean, I could say I'm going to do one thing, but I usually just, I'll probably do what I did with Manawa. I did Manawa and did Jones. So I may just get them both and show them they don't come in there together. Not anymore. Not like it used to. I mean, the guy beat me, yes, but when you're proven to cheat on multiple occasions, I've done what I've done, it doesn't matter. I mean, I've stated time and time again that I've passed every USADA test without any problem. And I did 70 or something. And that's counting just the randoms. I've done over 70 random USADA tests to pass everyone. That's not counting every time I made a finals in the U.S. Nationals. Every time I made a finals in international competition. So I'm well over 100 with my in-competition tests. And I've never had any issues. So when I hear that name, with everything that he's done and everything that's tied to his name, it doesn't really bother me as much as it used I think what it does is the fact that him and I are so quite closely tied together. Even though he's won both fights, you know, I don't really care that he did it, right? I know it sucks, and for the general population, they look at it like, well, you didn't get a fair shake, and a lot of people say stuff like that. But I'm sure he's not the only guys that have ever fought that have been on stuff. That's why I don't take away what he did. He got beat, but it doesn't make me feel like, you know, I have to go and chase him anymore. I've done something to the point that he doesn't dictate my path anymore. And the fact that I went up to heavyweight as a light heavyweight champ and won the belt, it does feel good because for a long time, that's what people thought he would do. I mean, he was light heavyweight champ for 4 years and never really went up to fight the heavyweight champion. I did it after 3 years, I guess.
So when you talk about all of these tests that you passed, the random tests and all that, and you haven't had a tainted supplement, I mean, do you feel like the tainted supplement use is much more bullshit?
I think it's BS. I mean, that's why I was so vocal about USADA. You know, I was like, wow, USADA. Really? It's like, really? Come on. Like, you can't keep falling for this shit, you know? That's how I felt. But now I'm past it. I mean, I got something else on my plate now, and, you know, the chance to go and defend the heavyweight championship. You know? I've defended the light heavyweight title on a number of occasions. I get to defend the heavyweight championship this Saturday. I get to sit up here with 2 belts. I mean, and still be both the champion in both weight classes as I walk through the octagon on Saturday.
Real quick, do you think Jones beat Justice?
I think Jones beat Justice. I fought them both, and with Alexander, outside of that big knee, nothing really like hurt or anything. You know, like he kneed me in the 3rd round. But that was a round that I won probably 4 minutes and 30 seconds of before he landed the knee. That's why I won the fight. The 2nd round, he cut me, but he won that round based on the fact that he got takedowns. That was at a time where I fought every takedown so hard that if I ever give up a takedown, I lost the round. It was crazy. But he's a good fighter, and he will present challenges to Jones because of his length that I can't really present Jones with. But I think Jones is just better. I know that when I'm fighting him, I know that there are a number of things that I need to worry about, and I didn't necessarily feel that against Alexander.
When you have a super fight on the horizon, like with Jones or Lesnar, is it more difficult to stay focused on the fight? How do you avoid the trap?
I think when you look at my career, I've been in a lot of trap situations, right, where I had come off the big Roy Nelson win, and then I was going to fight Rashad Evans. I was supposed to be like ready. It was a former champion again, and then there's Patrick Cummins. I was able to get rid of him in a minute. And then after that, it was Dan Henderson with the idea that I was going to get a title fight. I went in there on 6-7 weeks, and I dominated Dan Henderson. And then after I beat Rumble, you know, I fought the guy that he had just knocked out in a minute. It was like a chance for me to go and lose everything, and I've always kind of thrived in those environments. I just believe that I have a ability to focus on what's in front of me so thoroughly that it allows me to compete to the best of my ability every time I step in the cage.
When you start thinking about legacy, if you only have, it's only Jones or Lesnar, which one do you think is better for the legacy?
For the legacy, to win against Jones would be better. But at the end of the day, even if I go win the fight, I'm still down 2-1. It doesn't really change much. He won the series, so I'd have to stick around and try to beat him again. If I beat Lesnar, then I'm up 1-0. But for legacy, yes, beating Jones, because he's the only guy that's beat me in my career. That's the one that means more legacy. No, I mean, I just don't think that, again, like I've had to change the mental process in regards to that. I had to truly let go of it completely, because when you feel that next step, I was like, I know I'm done by 40, right? If everything's what it is, if USADA is who USADA says they are, I'm never going to fight this kid again, right? I had to truly remove myself from anything in regards to him, because I would say, yeah, I would like to fight him again. But the reality of it was, if USADA is who USADA is, you fail the first time and you get a year, you fail the second time, so 2 years seems like it's going to be realistic, right? At 2 years, that was never going to be a win. So I had to change the way I thought in regards to him. And that's what's allowed me to kind of move past it. When I see him, will I not want to say something to him? Probably so. I'll probably still want to cuss him and say something. But it doesn't really change anything. We will never be friends. We'll never be cordial. Me saying he's a good fighter and stuff is probably going to be to the extent of which we say pleasant things about each other. I mean, even, he did an interview that said he was happy for me. I don't believe that. I mean, it's fine though. He does not have to be happy for me. My accomplishment is my accomplishment. And on December 29th, if he is to win the belt, I am not going to be happy for him. But his accomplishment does not mean less or more based on my reaction. It's his. It's not Daniel and John or John and Daniel. It's John Jones and it's Daniel Cormier. We are two different people. So our reactions to each other's successes don't really truly matter all that much.
How much did taking the fight on short notice? How much did the Garden play? Getting the headline at Madison Square Garden?
It played a big part. I mean, honestly, it played a big part. The idea that I could come back here. I was here in 2003 for the World Wrestling Championships, and I thought this is truly an amazing arena. It's a massive opportunity. I can feel the energy of the city and how great New York truly is. The fans are so passionate. I said, man, this is something I can't pass up. And the reality is, I got called about 7 weeks ago about a fight. And I was just starting to, around October, right? They told me my hand would be healed in 6 to 8 weeks. Right at the beginning of, end of September, I started rehab. So they're grinding on my hand, and they're squeezing, and they're twisting, and I'm like, it still hurts so bad. So when they said, can you fight? I'm leaving the rehab facility, and they're squeezing my damn hand, and it's throbbing. I'm like, I can't fight. My hand's still messed up. My hand's still broken. Then, after 3 weeks of rehab, and Derrick being as aggressive as he was, they said, can you fight? I said, well, let me see if I can punch, right? I'm not fresh off the rehab table right now. My hand's not throbbing. Let me see if I can punch. I went to punch, and I hit a couple guys, and I felt pretty good. I said, okay, I can do this.
Yesterday, Derrick was asked what he eats for a fight and gave a pretty interesting answer. I was wondering what you eat for a fight.
How long have I been up here?
12 minutes.
No, how long have I been up in this spot?
A long time.
Do you expect me to say something like Derrick said yesterday?
Of course not.
I mean, let's be honest. But breakfast, eggs and stuff. But I usually eat a sandwich right around 4 or 5 o'clock, and I let myself get really hungry to go to the arena. I feel like I compete better on an empty stomach, and I truly do believe that as humans, when you are starving and you're hungry and you're abstaining from sex and all this, it builds something inside of you that makes you want to go and pursue and get those things. And I think to get through the next man that's blocking me from essentially going to my wife, that's essentially me going to get food and enjoy myself and just really having a great time, I will blast through that person to get to that moment. And I do that because of that.
What do you make of his deal with Popeye's chicken?
I hate that. That sucks so bad that Popeye did that. I mean, I've done this for years, but the reality is it is what it is. Look, this goes back to what I told you. I've been here for a long time. I've sat in main events and co-main events and headlining pay-per-views for a long time. The guys that I fight, they get their moment, right? You've seen a lot of them come. A lot of them have gained sponsorship opportunities. A lot of them have made more money than they've ever made in their careers when they fight me. But the reality of the situation, it's fame is fleeting, and they get their moments. But after Saturday night, he kind of goes back to being the guy that he is, the guy that makes funny internet videos. And then we'll see if Popeyes is still so supportive. Because it's if Derrick Lewis wins on Saturday, he won't. You know, that won't happen.
You touched on saying that you'll feel content with retirement, but do you think that could change as the date approaches? I know we're only 4 months away.
I think because I've come to terms with the idea so much that I will be okay. I don't feel like, obviously I'm going to want to compete. That's what I've done my whole life, you know, but you got to remember, this is a lifetime of high-level competition for me. I started traveling internationally at 15 years old and wrestling the best in the country and in the world at 15. So at some point you have to stop, right? I just thought that 25 years of high-level competition would be enough.
What about impacting the sport went beyond and kind of being a guiding light to the younger fighters that are coming up in the sport?
You know, I think that what I've done in my career,
you okay? Yeah, I'm good.
The way that I've tried to carry myself, the way that I've tried to be, is truly a blueprint as to what fighters should try to follow, in a sense that you can have success and do things the correct way. You know, I mean, I have done things and accomplished things that I never could have dreamt of, and I've secured financial security for my family. I've provided a life that I never would have thought, but I've done it in the way that I can be proud of when I walk away. And I think that if guys want to look at how I did it, it hasn't always been good. I mean, when Jones and I were fighting at the MGM Grand, that wasn't a good look. You know, I've said things in build-ups to fights most times with Jones that have not been good. But as a whole, I've tried to do things with a level of professionalism that a lot of guys aren't showing in today's mixed martial arts. Yeah, I can't let go of the idea that I'm fighting at 205. I used to have to do those things to make weight. Like, when I was in Boston, I sparred Monday, grappled 5 rounds Monday. Sparred Tuesday, grappled 5 rounds Tuesday. Sparred Wednesday, grappled 5 rounds Wednesday. Like, I was doing 10 rounds a day for 3 days leading up to the fight just to make weight. And it's hard for me now to let go of that because it works. I don't have to do it, but it works. I feel good when I get a couple of days rest and I feel prepared. I don't let time pass to where my sharpness and everything doesn't start to falter. I feel like on Saturday I just go into another hard sparring day because I've been doing it all week. You tone it down a little bit, but I'm not blasting guys like we do. I mean, you saw Habib before he fought Conor. He had a black eye. But after the fight, he was clean. Right? It was the craziest thing. But in the gym, we beat each other up like you guys. I would say like you couldn't believe what the reality is you do because we used to always pull out in the fights. At least we make it to fights now. That's one thing, right? What are you guys doing? Right? Before we used to get so much shit for not making it to fights. We make it to fights now. So start to say that we make it to fights now. And so that we can shed this idea that AKA guys are constantly pulling out. As Luke Rockhold put out this fight. Shit! God dang it!
That commitment that you show to fighting is also, you've also shown to fighting. What you've done in the wrestling game, you do as a box analyst. Where does that come from? What does it point to, like, things that happen in your life? Why do you do that type of punch?
You know, Lance, I grew up in a place where there wasn't much, but I watched my dad, like seriously. I'm doing this at Gilroy High School. I'm doing it at 3 programs named after me for wrestling. I'm doing it at Fox Sports. You can't get motivated to work at Fox Sports. It's a problem. My dad did it for the city of Lafayette. My dad did it for a pizza parlor named Melisse's in Lafayette, right? He would get up at 8 a.m. in the morning, man, and go and work and cut the baseball fields, clean the bathrooms at the parks. You know, what's that? That it's called mime or something that goes on the baseball field. He was the guy that walked out there and mined those fields for kids to go play baseball. Then he would get off at 5 o'clock, drive home, take a bath and eat, and then he would drive to the pizza parlor where he washed dishes from 6:30 till 11. And he did this constantly. He always did it. And when he wasn't at the pizza parlor, he would cut the graveyard, the cemetery, push the graveyard, or he would work on cars. He just always hustled. And I'm like, man, if I can watch this man over the entirety of my life, spend his days and days and days just working, why can't I do the same thing for my children? He was making very little money, and because of that, he was doing more to try to provide for us. And that's what I want to do for my children. It's just on a different level, and more people are seeing it. But my dad's not abnormal. So many men work like this. And honestly, so many black men work like this. You know, black men have a reputation of not being there for their families. My father killed himself for us, to give us these opportunities. And there are a lot of men like me and like my dad that are out there doing that. So if he can do that, if he can break his back under people's cars, if he can cut cemeteries, if he can wash dishes, and he can work for the city of Lafayette, I can go and sit at a desk in a fancy suit and talk about fights. I can go give back to the community and teach wrestling as someone did for me. So it's just, my dad was inspiring, man, to watch him, and I knew he was tired. I knew he didn't feel like doing that, but he always did it and still made time to go watch me play football, to go watch me wrestle and do all of that things. Just having a strong role model was very important.
There's this media narrative right now that you're had the perfect retirement plan laid out. Lesnar, maybe Jones walk away, and you might be risking it in one night. How true is that thought?
It's very risky. I mean, this is a guy that can finish a fight in no time. But you got to understand the mentality of a fighter, right? Whereas some people see Derrick Lewis knocking out all these guys and it scares them. For me, it excites me, you know, because it gives me the ability to go out there and really put it into anything that he's built. I like taking guys, right? And after I get done with them, they're never the same. That's what I like. I like showing them that there's a place that they can go to in a fight that's so uncomfortable that they never want to truly push themselves anymore. And that's what I like. I like breaking dudes. And not only just on the night, I like to try to break them going forward.
And how real is that conversation in your head where you are weighing out your options and saying, what happens if I do lose both belts in the next couple months and get injured or something and lose that chance at Brock? What's that like in your head when you're negotiating?
You know, that's the difference between me and a lot of other guys. If I was to get beat by Derrick Lewis and then I had nothing else, I'd still be okay. The reality is, what I've done is done. You can't take it away. Just because I lose doesn't change it. People don't look at BJ Penn any different because he loses fights. People don't look at Randy Couture. All the greatest champions in UFC history have started to lose fights. Their value remains the same. And I have done what I have done. It will not change. On July 7th, I cemented my place in MMA history. So if I lose, I lose. Hey, I'm going to make more money in TV than I've ever made fighting.
All right, you said that you can't change it. You can improve on it. You're right now at the table of the GOATs, but to be the GOAT, people say, well, you still got to fight Jones. Is that still a real thing?
Well, I mean, the reality is it's a guy that beat me, right? So to be the greatest fighter of all time, I would probably have to beat him. But then they can always point to the fact that, well, he won a fight, but he still lost 2. So Jones is still better. There's always an argument to the alternative.
But do you care? Are you trying to plan a way to become the actual GOAT? No argument?
I mean, I feel like there are some challenges in that thought. Because I ask you this right now: who's the greatest boxer of all time?
Sugar Ray Robinson.
Sugar Ray Robinson. Who's the greatest boxer of all time? Muhammad Ali. Who's the greatest boxer of all time?
With him, Sugar Ray.
Sugar Ray. You.
Muhammad Ali.
How do you come to a conclusion? What about you? Mayweather. I mean, Mayweather is clearly the answer, right? We're the same. I think it's Mayweather. I think it's Floyd Mayweather. But how do you come to a universal conclusion on that argument? Just like who's the greatest pound-for-pound fighter ever? You never come to the true answer. and I can't chase that. It's like chasing a dog chasing its tail, and I'll just be spinning in a circle. And I'm not a guy that likes to spin in a circle.
And Daniel, you briefly touched on Khabib and Conor there. What did you make of Khabib's performance last month?
It was tremendous. I mean, sadly, the post-fight stuff was so big that you lost track of the fact that he fought a tremendous fight. I mean, in the stand-up where Conor was supposed to have a massive advantage, it was even. Even in the third round, if you have to give Conor a round, the third round was his. That was still a really close round. Khabib landed as he took it. He got a knockdown on him. When does that happen? I mean, Conor's never been knocked down. He did so many amazing things in that fight. I thought he fought well, and he's seeing the fruits of his labor because he is a massive star right now around the world, and it showed from the performance.
And although it was a dominant victory, there are still a small segment of fans who think a rematch is warranted. What's your thoughts on that?
The rematch is wanted because of what happened after the fight. If I asked you guys, if that fight ended and they hugged and you thought competitively about that fight, people wouldn't say, I want to watch them again. But after all that, the bad blood, people go, I want to watch the fight. From a competitive standpoint, there really is no reason for them to fight again. But because of everything else around it, everyone wants it, and trust me, I will be there again to watch it because of everything that surrounds fighting. Conor to me is a great fighter, and I thought he fought well. I really did, because he limited the damage on the bottom. He actually defended takedowns well, but I just don't know if he can hurt Khabib enough to stop him from pursuing it. And that's where the matchup problem exists. He's a good boxer, but Khabib's not so bad that he just gets overwhelmed. And I don't think he can hurt him enough to stop him from just walking him down, pursuing him and taking him down. And eventually he's going to get tired. They talked to me about it, about the fight with Jones and Gustafsson. They also told me that if I decide to go back down and fight, I can fight for the belt again. Also, nothing changes for me, right? I go down and challenge. Say I defend this belt on Saturday, right? And come next year, I go back to 205 and fight for the light heavyweight title. They say, well, you can't be in a situation where you're going to tie up two belts and you have to vacate the heavyweight title. I still go into the light heavyweight championship with all championship language in my contract. So nothing really changes. All my championship purse remains the same. All the pay-per-view remains the same. I could have no belt and be a challenger for the UFC light heavyweight title and get paid as if I'm the champion. So in reality, nothing changes but me sitting up here with two championships.
DC, you and Derrick should have a press conference before this fight to promote both better. You guys haven't really talked to each other at all.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know that it's needed right now. It was very late, and I don't think we really needed it because what is going to happen? Derrick and I aren't going to be arguing and yelling at each other.
It'll be entertaining.
It might be funny because you saw what happened last time with the Popeyes, but outside of that, I think it's fine. This works for me.
DC, he beat you to the Popeyes sponsorship. How do you feel?
He did. That sucks. It really sucks that he got it done. I don't know what happened. My managers need to get on their shit.
I think he wanted less.